Tills, ProVelo Super League, new road to the World Tour. I'm down at the Tour Down Under. You were at round one. We're going to dissect the opening round of the league this week. We're going to talk to a few athletes as well. But before we get to that, you and Scott McGrory, you caught up earlier today, yeah?
Yeah, we sure did. Keno, I was just in the village listening to you interview Sir Mark Cavendish, and I'm thinking, man, you're the real Clark Kent. I don't know how you're going to spin this around. I don't think you're going to cut that interview short either. So, yeah, I caught up with Scotty. We're going to have a chat so you can get back into your room.
Okay, so here's the strategy. You spoke with Scott McGrory earlier on today, so we're going to have a listen to your thoughts on some of the highlights from the opening round, SA Kick It. Whilst that is playing, I'm going to transition up into the hotel room. I might even swap into a T-shirt that matches yours. Then we're talking to, we've got Lissa Pilates, we've got Kate Perry.
Yeah.
Who else have we got?
Amazing. We've also got Brendon Davids and also Brendon, who placed in the under 23. We've got Brendon Green, Cycling Development Foundation as well. So, yeah, we've got a really jam-packed show.
Okay, let's get to you and Scott McGrory taking us through SA Kick It.
Scotty, what did you think of the first round?
Oh, well, okay, first thing, it's legitimate. Okay, so coming in, people weren't too sure about, how hard the racing was going to be. And when you're talking about World Tour contracts, stage year contracts that are on offer, the racing itself needs to be legitimate. So let's break down the actual sporting side of it. Uphill time trial, well, that's legit, isn't it, right? You're going to get really quality riders in the results there. Super fast criterium, and then a circuit race that completely blew the field apart. So from a sporting standpoint, the racing was absolutely legitimate. We are going to see, at this rate, the very best domestic riders in Australia vying for those big contracts, which, it's what it's all about, isn't it? The road to the World Tour. But what I've got to say is from everyone that was involved, that was just a vibe. Like everyone was buying into just this new thing. It's something different. And I think that's the big takeaway is we're all going forward with this thing.
Absolutely. And I think we can provide the platform, but it's the riders that have to provide the entertainment. And as you say, Scotty, from behind the scenes, and people may not have picked up on this, but there was a huge amount of pressure, particularly to be running on that crit in a live stream on SBS. And I just think the whole organisation now, Matt Wilson and the wider team, we're breathing a sigh of relief and the excitement as you talk about going into the next round. But take us behind the scenes a little bit, Scotty. Was there anything that you saw that we didn't pick up on the live stream? There's
nothing there that was troublesome to any of the competitors or any of the officials. Little, box ticked for next year to just, tighten up a few little things behind the scenes. I think the broadcast at Victoria Park was fantastic. The innovation, of course, of going inside the peloton and talking to the riders, Ollie and Gina, I think that was really good. Timing it when we go to those riders to talk, that's going to be the big challenge going forward if they're trying to chase down a breakaway or go for sprints. But I think that was just exciting to be able to go inside the peloton and talk to riders. That's something that the fans are going to absolutely enjoy going forward, I think, Tills.
Yeah, and it all went seamless, it sounds, Scotty, except for the starter's gun.
Hey, don't point that.
Everything was seamless until the trying to get them off the start. But behind the scenes, Scotty, as well, like with the riders, we saw some dominance there from Team Brennan and in the men's and Pratties in the women's. What do these teams like Cobra 9 and Butterfields need to do to overcome the strength that those teams are already showing in the early season?
Well, kudos to Brennan Savello because they were a team thrown together almost at the last minute. They had a fantastic sponsorship come on board fairly late last minute. And I know Tim Decker spoke to all of the riders who all needed a team. They all wanted to go somewhere.
This could go 1 year or it could keep going. And our plan is for it to keep going, okay? You guys are going to set the benchmark of, where we start and how we go through this series. It's a new series and it's super exciting and it's just what Australian cycling needs.
And from what we're hearing from those guys is they have all bought in to the concept. They're all there for one. They're all there to try and ride really well together. And in their first race as a team, they look like seasoned professionals and worked really well together. So they have now set the bar. Right? So for Case Body Wrap, who were probably coming in thinking they might have dominated, all of a sudden there's this other team, new kids on the block that have gone straight over the top of them. So they'll have to step up and try a little bit harder next time. And when anyone is setting the scene and doing the sort of results that Brennan were able to get, that lifts everybody, doesn't it? It lifts the bar. We saw that with your old team, with Bridge Lane, now the Praties team in the women's competition. They did that for 15 years. Everybody had to step up to their level. And while Brendon Sabello is a new team, they have set the bar very high right from the start, and everyone's going to go back and have to have a big think about what they're going to do now to make sure that they don't get smashed like they did by Brennan at the Melbourne Warrnambool next up.
And on the women's side, I think Butterfield's cycling development team, we also saw one of the standouts for me in the crit was the ARA Skip Capital under-19s team taking it to the elites. I absolutely love that. But as we've spoken about before, Scotty, I would love to see some of these teams get together on a 1-2-3 attacking style, really try to isolate the Praties team, which is possible to do in the Warrnambool, trying to lure out maybe one of not their strongest riders and try to take that rider to the line, knowing that you could overcome that person on the finish lines. Is it already over? As the Praties team and the team Brennan, they're on their way. There was one time trial at Wollonga and the season's over.
There's still plenty of racing to come. We still have 5 more rounds of ProVelo Super League. So everyone has to get organised now. They know what they have to do. They have to step up. It's going to be really hard to beat the Praties in the women's competition, but they have to try. You can't just give it to them. There is that contract on offer. Talia Appleton at the moment sits in the box seat to go all the way with that, but there's just so much more racing still to come. And I'm sure in the men's comp, there is enough depth that there will be other teams that will step up now. We saw how strong Tynan Shannon from Royal Bikes was in the third stage in the men's race. He finished second overall. He's a monster. We're going down to his roads, the Melbourne to Warrnambool. He's from Warrnambool. So, he could be the strong man at the next round and take over. So the scene has been set now, hasn't it? It's a new age of Australian cycling for road.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really did feel like the road to the world tour. We had Cav, Whitey, Heyman and Renshaw on the track watching these riders, already speaking about riders like Jack Ward, Zach Marriage, etc. But Scotty, looking
Richie
forward
Port.
to the next round.
Richie Port.
Yeah, exactly. And these are conversations already happening. So what a start. And I can't wait for the next round to kick off.
Absolutely. Cannot wait, Tills. It's going to be sensational, isn't it?
Well, Tills, that was sensational to be able to listen to that chat between you and Scott as I made my way. And I've changed T-shirts. I've made my way up into the room.
You're quicker than Sam Welsford today. Well done.
Oh, no one's faster than the world's quickest wombat. It was a really good broadcast. I got to see the first 45 minutes of the second stage around Vic Park. I thought you and Scott did an amazing job, and you had some brilliant guests with you. One of the elements that I was slightly caught by, well, not caught by surprise, but I thought was an interesting decision. Talia Appleton choosing to do the ProVelo Super League instead of being taken up the start that she was offered at the Santos Tour Down Under. Was that a surprise to you, or were you like, oh, that's not a bad decision?
When she told me that I saw her, it was a surprise in that moment. I think, Matt, it's just one of those sliding door moments as well in terms of decisions and opportunities. I guess what I do like the ProVelo League, it is a guaranteed opportunity, and that is not something you ever get in cycling. Nothing is guaranteed. Even the favorites, they rarely win. Actually, it's like you don't bet on cycling. The script is unwritten, and so I think with Talia right now she's leading, but it's a very long season. There's many rounds. We've got 5 rounds to go, and so. But I ran into her when I was on riding late yesterday, and look, she's really excited. She feels very confident about the position, and she's someone that if she gets a sniff around a win or being positive, she can get bored really easily. But this has got her excited. She's extremely intelligent, and so I think we've just got to see how it plays out, because on the other side, we've had riders like Fergus Browning, Alyssa Pilates, who turned down this first round of the ProVelo to ride with the Australian team. And right now that's working out for them as well, but that wasn't written in stone. So the season is long.
Yeah, there is a big decision. What we need you to do as well, though, we need you to tell your friends to subscribe. This is not a GoFundMe page. This is a Go Subscribe With Me page, because we want to get an extra 115 subscribers to the ProVelo Super League YouTube channel so we can stream the races that we are covering internationally. We've been talking about Talia Appleton. You spoke to her a bit over the weekend. I want to pick the brain of her coach, Kate Perry, who is one of the best coaches in the business. She's been a medalist at national championships herself. Kate, welcome to the ProVelo Super League.
Thank you. Firstly, thanks for having me along this evening. It's super exciting to talk about the weekend. Obviously, there's no surprise to anyone. I was super stoked for Talia. I think, I caught the end of your conversation there about, it's a huge gamble for her to jump on board the ProVelo and turn down the national spot in the national team for the TDU. And firstly, all I have to say is anything that Talia does is very calculated. So I think credit to her. She was very motivated for the first round of the ProVelo League. She rode her heart out. She picked her stage as well. I think coming back to what we were saying about it being a long season, she's really thought about which round is best suited for her. And I think, she's done her homework and she realized a Wollonga time trial, like uphill time trial, two of her specialties combined into one stage. I think, it was a no-brainer for her that out of all the rounds, this was going to be one that if she could get a bit of a jump start on, the likes of the other riders that haven't engaged in the first round, then, she's putting herself in a really good position to go for that stagiaire role. So, yeah, credit to her. She did the jersey proud. Not only did she win the TT, but I think the way she presented herself and rode in the subsequent stages really showed the world that, she's ready and she's hungry.
When you look at it objectively, it is a smart decision. She's 19, isn't she? So if, it doesn't work out this year, I'm sure she's going to get the opportunity at the Tour Down Under the next couple of years while she's still an under 23. So a smart, calculated decision. What are her greatest strengths and what do you think her potential is? Where can she end up?
Yeah, look, I think obviously you don't want to give away too many secrets, but I think Talia's strengths are definitely her engine and her capacity to push really hard, harder than I think a lot of us have probably ever gone on a bike. And I think she really, she has a lot of untapped potential, I guess, she's building on her bunch skills. She's getting a lot more confident in the bunch. She's holding her own. Her top end, is a bit of an untapped potential. We haven't really explored that in terms of our, from the physiology perspective. So I really think if she can continue to do what she does in the time trial and then, take those sort of GC roles, but really put herself in contention for the more technical stages. I think the more time she spends on a bike in bigger bunches, she's only going to go up from here.
KP, good to see you. Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks, Jules.
For Butterfields as well. And tell us from your point of view how the event was from it being in the car, being in the DS with Butterfields, and then also having some of your athletes there out in the field as well.
Yeah, I was actually involved with the Meridian Blue cycling team. So, in a sort of assistant DS role with Taryn Heather. I mean, we've both been around, obviously, as you know, bunches for a long time. But I think as an event, we were commenting, along with many others, that the event was it just took the step up in all aspects. I think the racing was hard. It was aggressive. The both male and female peloton really, did the racing justice. But I think a huge shout out to Matt Wilson and everyone behind the series, because the exposure, the professionalism, and just the all those little things that I think over the years have sort of slipped by have really been bolstered up. So yeah, as a team, we're super excited to be around and be engaged in the rest of the series. And I think anyone watching from home, if you're thinking about getting behind a team or potentially putting in a team yourself for the subsequent series, I think go for it, because from a team management standpoint, we're super impressed and really grateful for the opportunity.
All right, one last question from us, Kate. With the return or the entry into the ProVelo Super League of the likes of Alyssa Pilates, who you'll be sports director for her team, as you mentioned, Meridian Blue, and some of the other riders that were in the Tour Down Under, how do you think that will have an impact on the league?
I think, I think it's going to be exciting either way. I think if you look at the more experienced riders in the bunch, I think, Alyssa, for us, I know she's obviously very hungry for race results, but she's really looking forward to imparting some knowledge on more of some of the junior riders. So, yeah, I think Talia's going to have her work cut out for her, if I'm completely honest. But I think, Praddies have shown this round that they're very savvy and they're very strong. So I'm hoping that with the bolstering up of a few of the other riders returning, that we're going to see some tight competitions at the top, particularly for the next round, which is the Warnie, your favourite, Tels.
Very much looking forward to seeing you there, mate.
Kate, thanks for your time.
Cheers. Thanks so much, guys.
Fantastic coach, Kate. Very fantastic cyclist in her own right as well, Tills. In terms of the standings at the moment, it's interesting to look at the women's ProVelo Super League. The top three are all riders who are eligible for the under-23s. Talia Appleton leads. She's on 168 points. Next best is Sophie Ma. She's on 126. And then it is Sophia Salmons on 119. So it's the under-23s at the moment who are dominating the women's. But Tills, across in the men's, it's not all about the under-23s. I like the fact that there is a lot more to this than the prospect of that Stagiaire stint or the development squad stint with the Green Edge team. We've got Brendon Davids, who's 31 years of age. He's won plenty of big races in the past, including Malaysia. He's represented South Africa at World Championships. He's the leader of the men's series, and he joins us now. And you've even got the kid on. I love it. You are right on brand. You work for Cervelo, don't you?
I do, yeah. Hey, guys, how's it going?
Very, very good. What did it mean to you to take that last stage at Taylor and Ben and get the lead in the league?
Yeah, it's been a while between drinks for me, if I'm honest. Yeah, excuse the kid. I've literally just stepped in the door from training after work. So, yeah, it's yeah, I think it was a sort of a monkey off my back a little bit to get that one under the belt, especially backing it up after what the boys did the days before. Jack Ward was unbelievable up Wollonga again after his former tour of Bright, and then the boys just absolutely unleashed havoc in the crit the day before. So to back it up, what was it, yesterday or the day before, was it was unreal. It was really good to get one on the board for the team and keep the ball rolling.
How do you get the balance between your ambitions and the ambitions of the riders who are eligible for the Stagiaire contract in under 23s?
I think that sort of comes down from the top, though, from Decker. Tim Decker's obviously like all about performance, and he really caters well to all of the personalities in the team. I think he's got a few of us old boys. Like, I'm the fossil of the crew, but he's got a few of us in there to sort of help guide the boys and give them that sort of racing edge and teach them how to race their bikes from a strategic point of view. I'd say most of them have probably got the physical attributes to do so. And the Stagiaire going to the U23s obviously doesn't mean they necessarily have to win outright, but getting them near the pointy end is always a good thing. And I think it's just a matter of time before we see Jack standing on top of one of the podiums.
Brendon, there's nothing better, though, being the fossil and toweling up the children. You're a man of my generation, but I wanted to take us behind how it was in the peloton. You've done racing all around the world. What was the level like in the peloton this past round?
I think, yeah, look, the talent's all there, and I think the level of racing in Australia is super high. We've gone through a bit of a rough patch here in Oz with the domestic racing scene. And then obviously a number of teams sort of fell by the wayside last year, and that's how we ended up getting a lot of support from Cervelo. Is it freed up sponsorship for them, and Dave Stevens from Brennan came on board after Decker gave a chat after the Olympics in Adelaide. Dave happened to be there, and one thing led to another. Within 12 weeks, we've got this team, and we're competing against Olympic gold medalists from Caish. We're competing against a heck of a lot of youngsters from ARA, from WA. The level's definitely there. I think we had a number of wily foxes in our crew, and we sort of caught a sniff of that crosswind on the first lap. I kind of dropped back through the pillar to see how it was sort of affecting everyone as it got further back in the crew. And Decker came on the radio sort of halfway through the third lap, right before we were going to set Jack up for an intermediate again. And they said, if you boys want to make it hard, you can give it a crack. And we got Saunder on the front, and we sort of did a faux tempo. And the next thing, we just, as we turned through the feed zone, there was a bit of a crossy, and we just got on the pedals and gave it a squirt for a lap or two. And it blew it apart. We didn't expect it to do what it did. The plan was sort of to split it up and then go again later in the race. And I think even the boys, when I said let's go, they were like, "Oh man, it's a little bit early." I just said, "Well, everyone thinks that. That's you got to take your opportunities. You miss 100% of the chances you don't take. So, yeah, we jumped on it and the boys fully got across it. And I must say thank you to them for actually trusting the calls made on the road.
Yeah, I think the hard thing is, Brendan, we know that the time to attack is the time when no one wants to attack because it's already so hard. I think it was Amanda Spratt that said that to me once, the time to go or attack on a climb is usually when everyone's hurting. But yeah, you spoke about the under-23 obviously gets a stagiaire, but did you feel the sense of like just being able to put yourself out there, even as an elite rider, as we said with McGrory earlier, we had the likes of Renshaw and Matt White, etc. These sports directors on the ground here this weekend. Did you feel that them looking on and that it's not just about the under-23s?
Yeah, I think for myself, it's probably maybe a little bit late to try to put myself really out there and try to look for a contract. But there's definitely guys that have maybe missed out by some unfortunate circumstances. Like there's Blake Agnoletto, there's Tristan, there's a number of other guys on other teams that I think would be really deserving of contracts and hold their own in those pelos over in Europe. So I think that's also what we're all getting around on our team is there's a really strong culture of all for one and one for all, and everyone's really keen to just back one another, whether that guy wins or this guy wins. We're all equally as stoked, and we could see that right from Jack's podium on Wollonga on Saturday. Everyone was just absolutely over the moon. So yeah, I think from my side, I just want to get, well, I don't care who it is, but one of the boys on our team need to get that stagiaire, and I'll do everything in my power to help them get that. And just pass on as much knowledge as I can. We've got an unreal sort of resource pool. We've got Timmy Decker, who's all about the high performance. We've got Moff, who's come from the Cervelo background. We've got access to Timmy Rowe, who was roadside for us, who raced World Tour with BMC. It's just, we've got unbelievable backing. And I think that's what we're looking to give back now is help these youngsters get their foot in the door overseas and show what they're capable of.
Well, you've taken my final question off the table. You've just answered it. I was going to ask the question about how motivated are you to help that next generation get through? And it looks like that is a big part of what is driving you. Yeah, for sure. I think I never really had that coming through. I think I came to Oz a little bit late. I just want to sort of give that opportunity to someone else from what I've learned and from the guys that I've raced with. I've been teammates with Harps. I've raced against Welsford and Plappy and Kel. So we've had like this whole spectrum of all these top-notch riders we've raced against. And if we can give the youngsters that next step ahead and prepare them for what's coming and look for opportunities in races that might not always be so glaringly obvious, that's something we'd really like to pass on. And then, we've probably got one of the fastest sprinters in the country as well that the youngsters can sort of look to as well. So, really motivated going forward, particularly Warney. We've got Mr. Warney as our team manager. So Decker's fully motivated, and I think he really razzes the boys up. Mate, congratulations on the opening round. Good luck with what is still to come. And just before you do go, one last comment from me. You've spoken about Tim Rowe. You've spoken about Moffy. You've spoken about Tim Decker. The rest of the young guys on that team, they're really lucky to have you.
Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, they really are. Good luck.
Cheers, mate. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, they are, Tills. To have a guy like that to lead them, it's the old football captain coach out there on the ground with them.
Yeah, and you can really see that Brendon there, he's very settled in that role as well, and he knows his role in the team, and he wants to perform within his role, which is to support that next generation, and that speaks volumes. And I just think what was coming to me, Matt, through that was that a high-performance team breeds high-performance results. That sounds like a winning team. And the way that Tim Decker, I've seen some of his motivational speeches before, he is corralling those troops, and there's just a really good vibe. And I think some teams underestimate that in breeding a winning culture.
Yeah, and great comment here from Bruce about the Hong Kong team. We've seen them racing in Melbourne as well on the track. They raced at the Australian Madison Championships at Disc just before Christmas. And in the women's opening round, they had Wing Li Lung. She's in 7th position overall standings. And I think it'd be really good for the league to get more teams come here from Asia, like the Australian teams go and do the Asian circuit. Let's hope that over the next few years, those Asian teams are coming down to Australia to do the ProVelo Super League. Well, one of the other teams that we're going to see in action a lot is the team that hails out of Western Australia. It's been around for a long time, really focuses on development and getting riders up even in bigger teams within the domestic circuit. It's the Cycling Development Foundation. And we've got Brendon Green on the line with us, who has been very patient. Brendon, I know you've been waiting patiently the whole show in the green room appropriately, with your surname being Green. Thanks for waiting.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me on. I mean, it's been good to listen in, so
Now,
get some insights into some other teams.
Your dad is Guy Green?
Yes, it is. Yes, he is.
Okay, well, he helped me out a bit when I was just getting started. He used to be the boss of the ride on a Wednesday at 7:45 from the Ringwood Clock Tower.
Yeah, it's time passes, hey.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right, man. So how is this team? Give us a bit more of the background on this team, because I know it's been around for quite some time, and we've seen a lot of riders go from this team, take the next step and the next step. It plays a really important role, particularly in cycling in WA.
Yeah, it's like the team is really focused on doing what you said there. It's just picking up riders and kind of moving them up, moving them on, and giving that opportunity for the younger riders. So we've got more younger riders each year, and we've got a few really good ones this year, and we've lost a few in the last couple of years to bigger teams over in Europe or even in Australia. But it's mainly based on that, developing the young riders, especially mainly out of Western Australia, but yeah, picking up some of us Eastern State riders too.
So you finished 25th at SA Kick It. You had another couple of riders who are actually under 19s. What's it like? How old are you? You're 25?
27 now.
27. So what's it like for you? That makes you the elder statesman in the ProVelo Super League, certainly on that team. What's it like for you to be that guiding light for the under 19s in the team?
It's good. Like, it's nice to try and impart some knowledge from racing in Australia and Europe over the years on the younger riders, and try and help them out to get a result that they want. Because those younger guys and girls are hungry for results, but it's pretty hard kind of racing around Australia, trying to get up in the front. And especially this year, it seems like some teams have really come prepared and really quite strong. And you were talking about before, Brennan and Praties have really kind of thrown down the gauntlet to everyone. So it'll be up to our teams like us to kind of step up and show what we can, bring.
You talked, Brendan, about developing riders and losing some of those riders to the European. No bigger name than obviously Mackenzie Coupland, who was signed with she's taken that almost that contract already with Liverlula J-Code or is in the development team. Was that a big inspiration for the other riders in your team to see that pathway open up, particularly being in WA? I imagine it can be difficult to be racing in the East Coast with so much of the racing over here, and that step must seem so large.
Yeah, it does. I think Brad, who kind of runs the whole program and looks after a lot of the younger riders with coaching and a little bit of management, it's good to have those riders like Mackenzie and there's Brady that take that next step, that the younger guys can actually see an actual kind of the stepping stones that they can take, because it is like the guys in WA, it does seem a long way away from the top level. So it's good that there is those kind of riders forging the path for each kind of young talent.
But what we've seen a lot of really successful cyclists come out of Western Australia in the past 2 generations. And it was great going over there for the national championships. Tills and I, Brendan, we went for a run a couple of the mornings, and Tills, the amount of pelotons, there were pelotons that we saw out at 5:30 in the morning. It was enormous. For you, for the team, for the Cycling Development Foundation, what defines success by the end of the ProVelo Super League? I know it's a bit of a cliche question, but it's not all about winning. There's more to it than that. So what is success for you guys?
Yeah, I think we kind of sit down at the start of each race or stage and kind of go around, and people pick what they perceive as their success for the day, what they want to achieve. And I think if we can go into each race and kind of achieve, some of those aspirations, that's kind of where we want to be, like just pushing our own selves little by little on the way up. And hopefully, personally myself, I'm fairly results driven now, being a bit older. I don't like you said, to talk to Brendon before, he's sees like he's a bit past the chance of kind of getting a contract somewhere, and I may be in the same boat. But I think for us, it's that like self development is what we're kind of focused on, and often that ends up breeding results if you keep focusing on that and just keep taking those steps.
I love that. It is absolutely spot on, and you can take that all the way through life. And I've been lucky enough to talk to Mark Cavendish over the last couple of days here, and he's doing the Paris Marathon in April. And he cannot understand why people that are trying to give him advice, including advice from Mo Farah, mind you, has told him not to run every day. But Mark has said, but if I'm not getting better every day, what's the point? I want to make a little bit of progress every day. So one last question that was going to be my last one. I've got one more question for you. The one race in the ProVelo Super League that you're looking forward to the most?
Well, can I pick two? I'd say the big one-day races. I've done well in Warney in the past. I really like that race, so that'd be great if I could get back up there again. I got pretty lucky last time, just sneaking into a breakaway and then just chilling out and waiting for the race to kind of slowly come towards me. And Grafton. It's a really hard race, and I enjoy it. As much as it kicks my ass each year, it's a good race, so it'd be great to go well there.
Okay, you can have two races, but I'm going to correct you. You weren't lucky. You put yourself in the right position. Good luck for the rest of the league.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Brendon Green from the Cycling Development Foundation. Really important team, Tills.
Yeah, very much so. And I think how important, Matt, to have a team based in WA as well. We are a national sport, and I think so much of what we do is on the East Coast, but we know that was a magnificent nationals that happened in Perth. And I just think we keep coming back to this exposure and viewership and how important it is to have coverage. And so for just so many kids, even on the sidelines, watching nationals over there in Perth and then seeing it on SBS, and, it's aspirational, and it's great to have that team over there who are really focused on sort of developing riders to then also potentially go into some of the more elite teams like Team Brennan or Case Body Wrap as well. But that doesn't mean they're an underdog. They're certainly putting their nose in the wind and trying to get those top results as well.
I reckon we're going to see a fair bit of them. So earlier on today, you managed to catch up with Alyssa Pilates, who was one of the success stories from the TDU, winning the Queen of the Mountains classification. She's going to be racing in the ProVelo Super League as part of the Meridian Blues Cycling, presented by 99 Bikes. She's got Kate Perry as her sports director. Here is you chatting with Alyssa Pilates.
Alyssa Pilates, you are the queen of the mountain at this Santos Tour Down Under women's stage race, a world tour stage race. How does that feel, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's still sinking in. Pretty special. Didn't really expect it, and yeah, super stoked about it, that's for sure.
Mate, from what you've come from, the sickness, the illness, the bad luck, like talk us through that and how you got back to, being the queen of the mountain, I guess, at a world tour race, and what that, journey means to you.
Yeah, I've been through a bit of a rough trot over the last 2.5 seasons, dating back to commies in Birmingham 2022. Caught long COVID 2 weeks out, and couldn't even make the start line for the team's pursuit, which was really shattering. And then that kind of flowed into my contract years for Jayco. First year was just kind of battling it out, being unfit just because my body didn't want to respond to training stimulus as it should have. And then we came to a mutual agreement after I had a really bad crash in Lavinia where I ruptured my spleen, that it would probably be a good idea to go to the Conti team and try find my feet again, which was good in theory, but unfortunately there was more bad luck with a lot of crashes, mechanicals, So yeah, it just wasn't really meant to be with Joko, unfortunately, and yeah, kind of come back to Australia to reset and find my feet again, and yeah, find a good support network, which I think has worked really well. And yeah, now I'm reaping the rewards, which is really nice to feel.
You passed up the first round of the ProVelo Super League. You are racing with the Meridian Blue powered by 99 Bikes team. What round are you most looking forward to? You are, and is this the goal for you as well after TDU?
Yeah, I think Warnie, which you've been on the podium yourself a few times. That's what I'm really looking forward to coming up. I do like a long, hard yucca race, so yeah, hopefully can put some fireworks for the viewers for that race. But yeah, all the rounds look really interesting. I think Sydney would be really cool as well. Haven't done racing there before, so that'll be cool to kick off. And I mean, after my QOM, maybe Tassie would be suited to me as well. So
we released you from the ProVelo League. You did the country proud at the TDU, but we're looking forward to having you back for the Warnie.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to racing the ProVelo series as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, mate. We'll chat soon.
Thanks, Tills.
It's going to be great to have her in action come the Melbourne to Warrnambool, Tills. And it was so emotional seeing her get that Queen of the Mountains after what your discussion, all that she's been through. But we're also potentially going to have in the men's the winner of the King of the Mountains classification from the TDU, because Fergus Browning is currently leading that classification in Adelaide, and he's going to be riding with the Case Body Wrap team. Perfect preparation for the ProVelo Super League is to just warm up at the Tour Down Under. Then the real racing starts.
Yeah, we're going to have the king and queen, hopefully, in the ProVelo League. And I think it just speaks to the league, though, Matt. You know, these riders, they wanted to take it to the World Tour, but also they are most excited about the ProVelo League. We keep coming back to this guarantee of if you win this ProVelo League, you get this opportunity as a stagiaire or a contract with the Liverlula Jayco development team. And that's just unheard of. It's the only kind we believe so in the world. So they're really excited about it. They were watching on the ProVelo League, but to have that type of caliber, and I think it's just going to lift the league again. Yeah, it is. As we've heard from Alyssa, the next race, it is your favourite, the Melbourne to Warrnambool. That's on the weekend of the 8th and the 9th of Feb. The coverage is going to be on SBS, and you'll be able to follow it also on the socials. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We want to hit the marker that lets us actually stream the coverage of the races internationally. Follow the social channels. We want to hear your comments as well, and tell your friends about it. Tills, it's been a lot of fun. Until next time. Thanks so much, Keno. I'll see you then for my favourite, the Warnie.